26.
Considered
the pride of coach of.
And Shane Mosley, or some of the fighters he attacking, coming down on his opponents. Julio doesn't fight that way.
You know, and Julio had a good 200 amateur fights. Manfredy is going to take him to the Manfredy than we saw him.
At 135, 130 against Corrales, he simply won a lot of 130s.
Was very extreme. Mayweather, Corrales, Stevie Johnson, all these guys was very sharp punch.
Inside and left hook there. Julio with jab, right. Come back upstairs and multiple jab upstairs. And here
has been very effective at moving very fast and keep a distance between them is what you.
Diaz stepping up the activity level now with his jab. And Manfredy with a straight right hand breaks up Diaz.
The last one of whom knocked him down, and so perhaps Manfredy thought he'd go out there and.
Diaz flirts with low blow below the Manfredy belt line. A warning from the ref.
Early in the round, on the jaw, no particular Palm Springs area, as Diaz and his brothers.
He said he's always to do what he thought top professional fighters did, meaning going to Big Bear and out and trained that before, and he seems to be much more comfortable.
Box numbers in round one. Diaz threw 55 jabs.
But Manfredy's crowding him and cutting the ring. I think those big shots.
And fires to the body, and the guys is throwing.
Diaz is actually making a fight. Manfredy's making him do that and picking off most of the punches on his elbows and gloves. Stage, figure that Manfredy is going to be a man because it seems like he's holding. Diaz can continue to punch at the ratio that he's punching compared to Manfredy and last up and be strong going down.
But Diaz is mostly just trying to make contact, Emmanuel. He's not putting a lot behind these punches. Perhaps
mature years old. That's just who he is. He met his future, keeps his mind on his business, which is what we're watching.
Well, he's been training at. So both guys trained at home, so to say, instead of going to training camp for this fight.
And Manfredy and stepping up the press punches in round two. 74 of them were jabs. Diaz is very fluid with the left hand.
The guy keep throwing all the punches, and you don't punch back sooner or later. Just playing a knock.
Right hand.
The punch that I think that Manfredy better look out for is that left uppercut. Diaz is going to.
And there it is. Fires the left up. Julio Diaz, 21 years old, in the gold trunks. Angel Manfredy, also in gold trunks, 26 years old. Angel firing behind his tattoos and landing one big left hook about 20 seconds ago. But Diaz throwing most of the punches as he does in this exchange.
Diaz is fighting very relaxed to the degree that he's punching a lot, but he's not exerting himself too much, knowing that Manfredy is going to be stronger going down the stretch.
It becomes a body punching exhibition with both the right hand and the left hand. Manfredy doubling his left hook and chopping over the top with the right.
Fighters come in with plans, and this particular stage and making the fight Diaz.
We'll get some more of that in a moment. 7, Julio throwing left chest. This is absolutely unbelievable. 3-0 Julio Diaz. And there's a hard right hand by Manfredy. All right. So Harold's scorecard has Diaz winning all 3 of the first 3 rounds, and you say Manfredy is getting the fight where he wants it to be.
Yes, even, well, when you consider he can't outbox Diaz, his best shot is to physically walk him down, block as many punches as he can, and to try to when he's not expecting.
To win by knockout.
Win by knockout. And another guy to throw all the punches, you know, he can can still land any particular punch and then turn the fight around. But he's willing to take that risk.
Another good right hand by Manfredy, but he's just getting outworked.
He's getting outworked, and the danger of fighting a guy like Manfredy, sometimes he punches so seldom that you don't even expect him to punch, and that's when he can come out and catch you with a punch you don't expect.
But he can put landed two biting Diaz's chin and bloodying his nose, chanting Julio, Julio, Julio. One of the two, because of his previous activity in the local papers this week. Good. Diaz's punch count beginning to slow down just a little bit now.
It was a low blow. It was down here.
Yep. So that tightens up the scorecards just a little bit.
Diaz turned southpaw momentarily, and Manfredy calls his style patient aggressiveness.
After having been warned about low blows, that left below the belt and was penalized.
Almost pushed the punch down.
Round 5 between Diaz and Manfredy.
Told him to try to get a fight in too close. Just tightening up the gap, pulling out.
And Diaz told Espinoza that he thought he could push Manfredy back with the jab, and clearly Espinoza wants him to increase the distance somehow or another, with his feet or with his hands. Big left hook by Manfredy.
There's a cut over the right eye of Diaz.
Big cut.
And it looks like a bad one.
Yep. And I think it was the product of that sharp left hook.
Yep.
Yes.
So now there's blood coming from Diaz's knock.
And one of those cuts came from punches, not from butts.
Absolutely. Haven't seen a butt. Beck got off to an excellent start in the fight, but increasingly, as Emmanuel Stewart suggested would be the case, it becomes a brawl. And the more it's a brawl, the more it favors Manfredy, at least for the moment.
He's got a very good experienced cut man, one of the best in the business, in Jim Strickland.
The urgency.
Yeah, but he didn't land one of those blows, and realized that that's when he just cut off.
Diaz is not going to the body. Manfredy holding his hands so high, he must go to the body. I don't know if in the emotion of this moment.
He should go to the body, and when he jabs, he should feel that to rock him back instead of using that paw and jab.
I guess I'm mentioning that because now we're seeing what happens when a young... There's a left hand inside, and now the left hand that seemed immediately. And then a short left hook by Diaz.
Punches in round 5, but landed only 22 of them. His connect percentage going down. Manfredy beginning to throw more in that round. You heard Manfredy's corner. Diaz in the southpaw stance again now. This time he begins a round in the southpaw stance. His eye from Manfredy's left hook. And now here comes Angel, stalking to the body. Manfredy gets to your rib cage, he digs hard.
This is a very, very tough test for Diaz, for a young fighter. He's fighting better than he's ever fought at any time.
Man in Manfredy's corner, Jim Strickland. Diaz's corner is all
cut. It seemed like his cut had coagulated much faster than Manfredy. Manfredy's was flowing much freer, but Miguel Diaz is one of the best cut men probably in the history of boxing.
So both guys through the fight if they don't get too much damaged further by more blows. You know what I'm saying? Southpaw stance again for Diaz. Is he doing this to protect his eye, Manny?
No, I think his cornerman saw that they thought at least he was fairly effective in that position. So they told him to try that again, you know, maybe to keep avoiding getting caught with the left hook.
Manfredy gives you your money's worth.
Doesn't he, though?
Yeah. And if he ever moves and those bombs are coming, he's going to get caught dead on the chin.
cut and bleeding. Both fighters scoring. Good fight. Shoulder to shoulder. Worry if you got it through 6.
Okay, Jim, I still like the important. One of these guys has got to take a commanding lead this fight because it looks as though it may not go 12 because of those accidental headbutts. We're beyond the 4th round. If the fight gets stopped because of the cuts, they go to the scorecards at that point. They would score the partial round if it gets stopped.
By headbutts, Harold, they were caused
by accidental headbutts.
What matters, so if Yates thinks they were caused by accidental, determine the potential outcome of the fight. To step it up and be more active.
But in doing so, he possibly leave himself exposed a little bit too. So far, his defensive style has probably been very effective and probably has helped him from getting hurt earlier.
Diaz back in the southpaw stance. Diaz banging pretty effectively with the right hand from that southpaw stance. Now he turns the other shoulder back around. Diaz sticking to it.
Yes, he is. And he's
showing tenacity.
And he seems to have full control over his facilities and his thinking. He seems to be fighting extremely well for an inexperienced guy, so to say.
This is one of his better rounds. This is his best round since the cuts appeared, that's for sure.
His concentration seems to be very good.
His left hand is so good that the only real reason I can think of for him to be in this southpaw stance is to try to take away Manfredi's left hook.
Yes, and he's very effective in this style, evidently.
Diaz's sheer energy level, the difference in the rider cut over the eyes, and although our camera has ruled that they're the product, Diaz can.
Diaz seemed to have got his punch in, and it seemed like now, which is the time for him to step it up, it's hard for him to do so because he's just got in the habit of just walking in without punching. And as a result, he can't seem to get his floater going.
Hard left hand shot by Manfredi. Diaz takes it well, comes back with a combination of his own. Manfredi blocking the shots to the body. Diaz works upstairs. Manfredi firing his own body combination.
Backing up a little bit more. It seemed like he's being we're sort of just punching as he was in the beginning and backing away. He seems to trying to be more physical and pushing Manfredi back now. Whereas before he was always backing up, even though he was throwing a lot of hands, he was punching.
Indeed, the biggest difference in the fight through 8 rounds, Emmanuel, is that Diaz has shown you he can do 2 or 3 or 4 different things against him to do one thing.
Explode in spots. But now I think Diaz has gotten a little comfortable now in the fight.
Happened here is that our viewers have gotten a great chance to see 2 cut men really doing their work under pressure.
Two of the best in the business. Miguel Diaz is known as a trainer and a cut man. And Jim Strickland used to be a pharmacist.
Did he really?
Yeah, yes, he was a pharmacist. He knows a little bit about what he's mixing up.
This has become a chapter of ER.
Should step it up. If he doesn't do it now, he never will. He's got to step it up a little bit. And what's interesting, Diaz seems to have come out with an urgency that he needs to step it up a little bit more.
Freddie does everything hard in life. Tattoo.
Very careful now to avoid disqualification.
Don't worry about that. He just don't punch too often, so he won't have to land too many low blows.
So this becomes a test. He's got to realize now that he has to stay away.
And you know, and the blows were low blows, but they weren't what we call really bad low blows. It wasn't at the bottom of the cup. It was near the top or the center of the cup, which is some
manual without throwing a single low blow or risk disqualification in a fight that he's probably leading on the scorecards.
Yes.
And now Manfredy lands a big right-hand shot. And Diaz stops punching for the moment.
Definitely going to make a big factor, I think, in this scoring down the stretch.
Manfredy showing a burst of energy, realizing the chance.
That right hand that was hit Diaz didn't have as much effect as it looked because he rolled his head on it. It
was earlier in the round.
Yes, but that one he rolled it off.
Diaz goes back to the really seemed to solve it. Also with the left hand, so having had 2-point activity level and more fluid boxing style, carried the day with the judges as
the worst type of opponent that could have a young fighter fight. A lot of pressure and coming up extremely tight defense, and this is a character building fight for Diaz. And you know, someone else that stands back and fights at a distance and doesn't apply the pressure would be a lot different.
One thing Diaz has.
In other words, you don't have an answer.
Yes, I don't have an answer for this. Which will be the judge tonight.
Harold, how do you have it through 9?
Okay, Jim. 86, 83, 6-2, 1 even. Julio Diaz. I just think the busier guy continues to win the fight. Even though I'm watching Asia working that left jab, going southpaw, working the right jab.
Round 9 was pretty close.
No question.
And I guess he realizes that before he even lets his punch go, that man will let him go with power. But right now, Manfredy is getting closer, and he should be punching more power with his right hand in particular.
Diaz back in his conventional stance and back to doubling and tripling his jab, trying to keep up the tempo again. It didn't wander low.
Manfredy looks good in spots, but as soon as he lands something, Diaz comes right back and takes the play away from him. He never will let Manfredy get a sustained attack.
Diaz doubling and tripling with the left continues to govern the tempo of the fight. Blood surely bothering Manfredy as it surrounds his right eye. Has not been bleeding for the last couple of rounds as Miguel Diaz, true to form, has done a brilliant job.
Yes. In fact, Manfredy's cut has seemingly been the same from the first moment that it was cut. It's never changed that much more. And then for the most part, once he got to the corner, Diaz's cut coagulated right away.
21-year-old to be in.
Just what I was thinking. And if they go beyond for the very first time in his career, Manfredy has been there 3 times. Goes to the 11th round for the very first time. Manfredy has thrown more than...
Both guys are in great shape.
But though Diaz has thrown nearly 1,150 punches now, very few of them have been at full throttle. Most of them he's just trying to connect.
Yes. He cannot find a way to penetrate the defense of Manfredy. He's been unsuccessful at this point all night. In fact, the cleanest punches have been landed by Manfredy.
Again, Diaz flirts with...
This looks like a hell of a club fight to me.
Starting to punch with the same amount of power and force that Diaz, and he can't afford that. He's got to punch with big power because I feel he's probably behind on points. So when he does
around, Julio Diaz has amazing... Diaz again flirts with a low blow.
Yes.
Could have gotten him DQ.
top, he's just trying to take a gamble.
Hard right hand shot by Manfredy.
Yes.
Diaz stunned again by... Fight may be on the table. Harold, how do you...
I don't have it on the table. I got Julio Diaz 1-1, 8-2-1 even. I just think he's outworking Angel Manfredy. Lost the 8th round because he got in close and Angel outslugged him. But other than that, it just seems to be that has to go down in the lore of great statements by cornermen.
What, asking a lightweight?
Tough ruling given
In a young fighter, he had to throw about 4-to-1 ratio in punches the first part of the fight, which when he really spent a lot of energy. But he's still holding on and out-punching Manfredy at the end of the fight.
And if there's a judge at ringside who really shots, he may have Manfredy considerably closer in the fight.
Just not enough of him, probably.
Took Manfredy a few rounds to catch up to Diaz, but since the middle rounds, he has given a good account of himself. Put the action and has shown remarkable stamina.
Manfredy take control over the fight.
Manfredy having one of his busiest rounds here, and Diaz momentarily knocks Manfredy off balance with a right. Angel comes right back.
And he's coming back punching.
Dangerous last 30 seconds for Julio Diaz. Crowd getting their money's worth in Corpus Christi.
both fighters have left